It is live. I'm broadcasting live. How I got started making over American Girl dolls. Um, wow. Before I got into American Girl, I was buying Robert Towner dolls and Mel Odom jean dolls. And back then, we had magazines about dolls showing where people repainted custom dolls, not American Girl. It was always Barbie, then it was the Jean dolls, and the most popular ones were by Robert Towner. It was Sydney Chase, which the doll is still being produced. And I would do um, at the time, oh, come on. Okay. Say hello. I'll get to this one in a moment. And I was um I was around Cindy, whose music I play a lot in my videos. Where do you want to go? Okay, this is new. Distractions, always a distraction. Um, and so I was in a doll club in Durham, and it was I forgot the name of it at this time. And but Cindy Ribbit was starting a club, not really a club. Yeah, it was kind of like a doll club where we would make homemade dolls. I loved it. Um, I would spend a lot of time with her at her home, and she had this whole huge sewing room. She had all these doll making patterns, and I was more interested in making dolls at that time. I was more interested in sewing and designing and creating things like that. And this is before I got into American Girl. And at that moment, I wasn't interested in American Girl. I wasn't thinking about them. My friend Shirley was like, "Why don't we get an American Girl doll?" And I was like, "Yeah, not interested." Um, yeah, I'm going somewhere with it. And I was really focused on making dolls. I was going to doll shows. I was really interested in getting older dolls. Here, girl, I don't know where you're trying to go. Um, and so that being said, that's where my focus was. It was making something homemade, making something unique, and things like that. And I would make a doll, and then I would send it to Dolls Magazine. And if it was good enough, or if you were lucky enough, it would get published in the magazine. And so I had done a few dolls, and a few of them I did get notable mentions, things like that. Then with Cindy, she told me that she had invited Judy Ward, and it was a Yahoo group. Um, that's it, Cloth Dolls Yahoo group, and it was about getting together. So a lot of women got together in the area, and we took making classes. So when Judy Ward was coming in, I knew nothing about Judy Ward. I had to learn about her through other people. And so Cindy told me about Judy Ward, said she was notably known for designing doll patterns in the 80s. And um, and she was telling about she had a homemade Cabbage Patch Kid, like they would do patterns, things like that. So my interests were in designing and sewing, being creative, um, doing things, being, with my hands. I knew how to draw. Um, I was very good at drawing people. Um, and doing eyes and the eyelashes and the eyebrows when I did my drawings on paper. And so when I started with dolls, I started with cloth. This is a pattern that Cindy had. And when Judy Ward came, I learned how to sew, better sewing techniques, um, the resistance with the thread, manipulating the sewing machine where I could use different needles, stretchy fabric. That was when I learned you had to have different sewing needles for different fabrics. You had to have a specific sewing needle for thin, silky like fabrics. You had to have a certain sewing needle for like thicker fabrics, like thicker cottons or jean material. Then you had to have um, a whole nother sewing needle just for what we call regular fabrics, just regular side, thin or not too thin, not too thick, but just a regular, typical type of fabric. So I had to go through the process of learning all of these different needles for stretch fabric, for jean fabric, for cotton fabric, for silks. Oh my God, it was crazy. Sewing needles for a machine. And then came to learning to sew. And I remember with Judy Ward, there were several classes. I remember we went to Maryland. We spent a weekend at her home. She had a full, big, beautiful basement at that time. She doesn't live there now. She's done moved since then. I believe her husband passed of cancer. God bless her. My heart goes out to her for that. And he was so kind. He was nice. And, you know, so Judy Ward had a class in her basement. And all these women came, that she mentored, and they all went in a club, sewing dog club. So I remember doing that, and everyone was impressed with my eyes, the way I painted the eyes and the eyebrows. They said they never seen anyone do that on fabric. I had always done it on paper, so I was trying to transfer my technique, my skill with drawing onto fabric, but with paint. Um, was it easy? No, no, not at all. But I managed it. And this is one of my oldest dolls that I designed. I designed everything, her dress, everything. All of this is hand painted. Let me get in there, show you her shoes. I had to use layers of gesso on top of fabric. So it's not a real shoe. It's gesso, then it was sanded, then it was painted to give you the illusion of it being fabric. So yeah, and this fabric, I had to custom dye it, and I've never ever seen it again. It's very soft to the touch. So yeah, she got the bloomers and the big beautiful flowy dress. Um, and I didn't like wigs. So that's how I did her hands with sewing. And I believe the original pattern for this, I ended up designing it, then retweaking it. For her face, I had to apply layers of gesso, and then, yeah, and then layers of paint. But I didn't want a wig. I didn't want yarn hair because everyone was doing that type of thing. So I was like, okay, so at that time, my hair was really long. So if you look at my old videos, you see how long and thick my hair is. The reason it got that way was because I didn't mess with my real hair. I always liked synthetic half wigs. I still do, but I really haven't been wearing them. I haven't been wearing wigs now for a very long time. Just for like cosplay, like here on my channel, if I'm doing a review or if I'm doing videos here, it's like I will put it on, blend it in with my hair, do my little video shorts here, and then after that, it's kind of like shows over synergy. I take it off and I put it up. So I went and bought a pack of synthetic hair extensions, and I hand sewed these extensions onto this doll. I've probably had this doll 20 years now. Um, and this was how I painted her face with just paint. I didn't use pencil or anything. So that's how I started my skills. And the women were always, I could never learn anything from anyone my age or younger. Absolutely not. These older women who did sewing, all of these techniques, you learn from older people with life experience and skills. And being around younger people, they couldn't teach me anything. So I always stayed around older people, especially women who were creative with sewing skills and things like that. Look at you. It's my cat. Um, so I did the face, all the laser. They made me feel good. They were impressed with my painting skills on fabric. And then when I came in with the hair extensions, I don't think I used a full bundle of synthetic hair. It was inexpensive. The hair that I have used on my dolls, even American Girl, has really stood the test of time. It really has. So these beautiful extensions that are synthetic, not human hair, have lasted all these years and still look good. It's still brushable and playable. And so this is one of my oldest dolls that I've made, that I designed, that I made, and I kept. The other ones I sold. People, certain viewers here that have known me for a long time, come into my lives or will DM me and ask me, "Do you still have this doll from back when?" I'm like, "You have to send me a photo. If you have a picture, screenshot or something, send it to me, and I will see what I can do." And I sold them. And this one is one of the few that I have, and I do keep it here in my doll studio. Oh, and then I did the one Snow White. Oh my God, I loved it. I wish I'd have made her more, but I did two more dolls this size, and I no longer have them. I sold them. So then my twin come along. Charlotte was trying to get me into these baby dolls, like bigger dolls, and I wasn't into baby dolls. I wasn't into toddler dolls. I was always into fashion dolls like Barbie or Sydney Chase or Jean Marshall. Um, those were dolls that I saw in these old magazines, and I would go to doll stores to get them. To buy them. They would always have a sale at some of them. These stores are no longer in existence um, with the way things change in time. And so I bought a My Twin doll. And I remember I sent a picture of myself when I was a little girl, and I still have the doll. I opened the doll live here. It's one of my oldest videos that's still here on YouTube. The reason why I've left up my old videos from a long time ago is because it's reference. It's reference into how I have changed, how I've evolved, not just in my appearance, but as I've gotten older, um, maturity. But it shows where I've went through different life cycles, but also cycles where my paint work, my skills went from one thing to another as it evolved and improved over the times. When I got my twin doll, she looked like anything but a my twin. She was definitely not my twin. I still have her. She's up there. Um, I ended up having to repaint her myself. And the wig, oh my God, the wig was horrible. It was the worst synthetic hair fiber. Well, I'll take that back. The poly hair now, that's the worst hair I've ever touched. But regardless, it was very cheap. It was horrible. So I replaced it with synthetic hair extensions. So as you see, I'm going somewhere now. So the My Twin doll, I thought, well, if I use synthetic hair extensions on the dolls that I make, then I wonder if I can use synthetic hair extensions and on this My Twin doll. And I went to the store and where I go, and I bought two or three bundles of synthetic hair extensions. I'll go ahead and grab her. I might as well since I'm doing this video. Let's just keep it detailed with the journey because that's what this video is really about. It's really about the journey. Okay, so here she is. Yep, I still have her. So the photo I sent, I got to pick out the outfit, stuff like that. And so this was my twin doll. I ended up redoing the eyebrows, the lips, and it's funny, I had a birthmark here on the side of my face. And over time it's disappeared. I don't know how or when that mole beauty mark. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I have to wear glasses now because I can't see up close. I need glasses to read. I need glasses to see things up close. Far away, we're good, 2020. But up close, I need glasses. So there's my birthmark I've had since I was a little girl. And there it is on the doll. So this was the one they chose to go with my face. Um, And I've had this doll. She goes all the way back to the beginning of my YouTube channel. And I did paint her. You can see where the extensions, it's parted that way. I had to leave a little space, but apparently I left too much of a space in there. But then again, I could have ripped this off, sanded it down, redid it. I'm not going to do that because this doll was the beginning of the journey of how I ended up getting into American Girl dolls. So it's like, even though it's like that, I'm not selling her. I'm not getting rid of her. I'm keeping her. She didn't have enough hair and it was so thick. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to space this out. So that's what I did. I love the detail of the clothes. I'm still impressed with it today. Um, so yeah, my hair was not this black when I was little. It was darker brown. Oh God, my mom was gonna no, yeah, my mom was gonna cut bangs and they just kept getting crooked. So finally it grew out. So yeah. Anyway, I still have her. Yep, kept her. She will stay with me. I don't know what happened to her when I'm dead. I think everything I own will probably go to my family. And when I say family, at this moment, I'm not married. And I've been divorced um, over 3 years. And I've been single basically 4. There is someone I call my BF, but it has boundaries that aren't crossed, if you know what I'm saying. So at this rate, I'm looking at family such as cousins, basically cousins. Um, who knows what'll happen if I meet the right person and get married later on or what have you. So I've been downsizing my dolls, and now let me get back to the main part of this. So with American Girl, after I did my twin doll, I was like, okay, she's big, so Charlotte was getting me, talking me into it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to order American Girl doll. I ordered a catalog. I called American Girl. I ordered a catalog. I went through the catalog. And I didn't care about the Truly Me dolls. The historicals were what caught my attention. I love dolls that are based on a certain period in time. Um, So when I looked at them, there were several things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for skin tone, hair color, eye color, all of those things. And Rebecca is the one who stuck out. Rebecca really, really stuck out. I loved her hair color, the hazel eyes, even though my eyes are hazel. They're not quite it's green. If you looked at my eyes up close, they would be gray and they have little yellow zigzag lines, which is interesting. Um, so I got Rebecca, and I remember the first time I opened her, I was like, "Oh, she looks small." Then I started taking her out. She came in the red and black coat and with her shoes, and I thought, "That's her dress." I thought it was a coat. There's no dress. And when I took her out, I liked her. But then it was like her hair was so thin. I'm like, the magazine, the Rebecca's hair looked really thick and full, voluptuous with beautiful curls. I loved the color, but the back was all these little short hairs that were sewn onto her wig. And I was like, oh no, we're not doing this. So YouTube had been out, and I was like, okay, I created a YouTube channel. I do not know what it started off as. I don't remember. I've changed my YouTube channel's name probably 6 or 7 times over the last 16 years. Yeah, I do. I am proud that my YouTube channel has been on 16 years because longevity is one thing, but it wasn't it was never about me trying to get hundreds of thousands of subscribers. That was never my goal. I don't do the content that gets that kind of subscriber or just anyone. It was uh, to be focused on Okay, I'm going to experiment on dolls. I'm going to try something new and different out of the box that no one else is doing. And that was when my brother had bought me this HP camera, and I had to get the chip, the SIM, is it the SIM card chip thing, something like that. I don't know what they're called. I don't keep up with everything. I just know what I need, and then I buy it, I get it, and then I'm just like, don't think about it. So I was recording my video because you couldn't go live on YouTube. YouTube was like a baby. YouTube was just beginning. Um, there wasn't a lot on YouTube. But at the time when I started, there were a lot of YouTube. There were a lot of American Girl doll collectors. Um, you had kids like 11, 12, 9, 10, 11, 12, and up, um, who would do videos, stop and go videos. Um, they would do, at that time, customizing your American Girl doll was where you would do an eye swap or just swap the wig with one doll and another doll. And at that time, Ruby Red Galleria had doll wigs for 18-inch dolls. And I remember that's where people got their wigs. I didn't get one. I didn't want a wig. I didn't like wigs. So I took Rebecca and I took her with me to the store, to the beauty supply store, and a brand of synthetic hair extensions had come in called Snap. And I got the color as closest to it as possible. Um, I hate it. I had to take off my glasses to see far away. There she is. So this was Felicity's best friend. This doll was Felicity's best friend. And so I got this hair color. The color I got was slightly darker. Yes, I've had this hair all these years, and it's been bonded onto her head. Beautiful, thick. I hate it. I cannot get this color anymore. I wished I could. Um, but this was Felicity Merriweather's best friend, and I gave her this color of hair, and this was how I repainted her at the time. So I got those hair extensions and I went home. I got some, well, I went to Walmart, got glue. I already had it. And I took Rebecca and I recorded myself going around in circles with glue all the around her head. And then it finishes at the top. It self centers and closes by itself like a closure. And I uploaded the video onto YouTube. And it took a while for that video to get the views. It took a while for it to get a start, my channel. And when that video started going around and people in the American Girl doll community at that time were seeing it, they were like, oh my God, what did she do? How did she do that? So, and I just kept doing it. It was after that I got a Truly Me. Um, I was mostly inspired on YouTube by Sarah Stevens, Wrote a Dancer. I've mentioned her several times in videos because I always felt her reviews were always on top. She was someone you could relate to. She was just real. And, she was young. So yeah, so these are the hair extensions that I had used, and they still feel luxuriously soft. Now, this is my way of also showing you how my doll makeovers stand the test of time because this hair has lasted all these years. It hasn't frizzed, it hasn't gone bad. That's why I do not use a wire hairbrush. I think it's fine for a doll's original wig from American Girl. It works, it's great. But for like human hair extensions, it doesn't work as good. So I've always used a paddle brush, and I work with that because from personal experience from so many years, it's always worked. I wonder if the date is on the bottom of her foot. This was Kit's party dress, and it was so beautiful when it came out. It feels like, I don't know if it's cotton or not. Oh wow. Oh my god. You mean I don't have her signed? I I guess at the time. No, I don't. Look at that. I've had her all this time and she's not signed. This is my paintwork from the beginning. That was how I started. And when I did Rebecca, first it was the hair. After that, it was a repaint. I don't have that original one anymore. She sold to someone else. I don't know who got her. But this was kind of how I painted. And then that was a whole another thing that was in the American Girl doll collecting community was when I repainted the eyebrows. Then I added painted eyelashes. Um, so we got hair, we got a new face up, and it was crazy. Then it just those first 20 videos just got bigger and bigger. But then it was like the nasty comments come in from mothers, longtime American Girl doll collectors. Everyone just got nastier and uglier. And I'm like, and I remember some people would comment, the kids who wanted my dolls would like comment and be like, it's her doll. She can do whatever she wants to with it. And at that time, I was like, I didn't feel like I had to explain myself. I just didn't care at that time because for me, this was just something extra. I hadn't fully got into American Girl completely. I was still making my own dolls. So my attention was focused on making my own dolls, improving my painting techniques on dolls, and sewing. So I didn't have time. I would just do a video. At that moment, it was kind of like a little hobby to play with, to see what would happen, how things would go, what direction it would go in. Um, I was still discovering myself in the doll collecting world because I always played with my dolls, always. And so starting that was something very different. Um, so yeah, but when oh my god, the eyes are gorgeous. The eyes are gorgeous. The eyeballs. Oh my god, the way they did the eye color. Oh, I didn't repaint her lips. Okay, so her is just eyebrows and eyelashes and blush lips. Did I do her nails? Yeah, I did her nails. Oh, and when I started doing the French manicure and pedicure, oh my god, they loved it. Um, then I started getting requests, people wanting their dolls done and things. And it all started with a 12-year-old from Kansas. And it was him, and then we had like another kid from New York, Long Island, New York. Um, and so I started doing those for other people. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't at that time. It was okay to, share your address and do dolls for other people. There wasn't a concern for safety. You didn't have people stalking you and acting doing stupid stuff. Um, so it was fine. You didn't have people doing stupid stuff on YouTube either. Um, the dog collecting community, there was some bullying in the American Girl dog collecting community, but I just wasn't into that. I was just I was always focused on my own thing. My focus was what I was doing. I didn't have time to focus on what other people was doing. I've mentioned this YouTuber several times, Kim So Fun, and it was like Kim SEW because she would sew. She had a beautiful American Girl doll collection, and it gave her so much joy and happiness. And she would sew the dresses. She would do the videos showing herself sewing dresses for all of her American Girl dolls. And the younger people and bullies, they just bullied her so badly that she got rid of all of her American Girl dolls. She got rid of everything and stopped collecting. Now, the reason why I mentioned that is because there are so many journeys in life that we as human beings go on. There are so many different journeys that we will, or paths that we will take during our journey in collecting and loving and playing with our dolls, no matter what doll it is. It doesn't matter if it's Barbie or American Girl or, um, Rainbow High or Monster High and so forth, etc., etc., etc. Um, every path is a way of finding an addition of yourself. Um, once I started getting dolls and then I was selling my dolls, I would end up getting my dolls for myself. At that time, I was married. Things were great in my marriage. They weren't perfect, but they were great. I was in my own house and plenty of room, and I would go always consistently go through my doll collection, sell on eBay, recycle the money, buy dolls that I wanted. So I started buying another American Girl doll. Then I got another American Girl doll because then they had cute outfits. But I was always drawn to the historicals. The historicals to me had the most impressive outfits. The dolls I felt had more character. For me, the Truly Me dolls, 2012, 2000, no, 2000, let's go back. I think 2006, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. All of the Truly Me dolls, and I forgot what they were called at that time because I didn't keep up. I felt like the Truly Me that we call now, all of them looked like the same doll. It was the same dolls with the same, just different eye colors, different wigs, wig colors. And I just didn't like them. The only one I liked was the one everyone called Skylar. So back in the early 2000s to the late 2000s, no, I'm gonna because I didn't start YouTube 2006, so mid to late 2000s, everyone got the Truly Me doll, medium skin tone, blue eyes, black brown, wavy hair. And oof, I got that doll and I love her. I still have my original from 2012. And then we would get so excited over new releases. Everyone in the American Girl doll collecting community, excuse me, we would get excited over new releases. We would stay up until 12 o'clock at night so that we could go ahead, get our orders in for the new dolls. It was just a race to get them before they had them in stock. When Cecile and Marie Grace come out, I was over the moon. I was like so excited because Shirley finally got me into American Girl. Then Shirley was buying American Girl. And at this time, I think American Girl dolls were like 98 dollars. When I started, they were 96. They went up to 98. Then they went to 100. And so I remember when they came out, I bought two Marie Grace and Cecile at the same time. And I bought clothing. The video is there. It's here on YouTube. What I loved about it, so these two was that they represented me and Shirley. I was like, okay, so my hair, I think it's yeah, it's this color. Well, my roots aren't, but I loved it. I loved it. She had a new face. I was just sick of the classic face mode. I despise the classic face mode. It was never ever my favorite. That's why I chose Rebecca. I like that face sculpt better. But once you've been painting them as long as I have, it's just they become boring. Um, I just got sick of all of those original face sculpts. And I remember I would ask the American Girl to create a new face. And what happened was with Marie Grace, some people didn't like her. Now she's sought after. I loved it. I loved her face. I loved the turquoise eyes, her skin tone. I loved the beautiful hair color. And Cecile had my favorite. Cecile's face sculpt. That is my favorite face sculpt. It's Sonali. It's a Sonali face sculpt. And it's my favorite face sculpt for the ethnic dolls. Now, I do want a Tiana because I think Tiana's very pretty too. Um, and when I first made over Marie Grace, I'm like, she's gonna be my mini me. Everyone did the mini me. Everyone was, getting a truly made to be their mini me. And they would dress it like them and things like that. But the thing was at that time, when I got her, this dress, it feels like it feels like a plastic tablecloth. This is the only part that's real fabric, um, and possibly the trim, but otherwise this, it's like plastic. Um, and it's like a coral. I hate coral color. Anyway, I think her dress would have been prettier if it was like a light blue. But I love the boots. I love the boots. I love the socks. I love the quality. So, and it stood the test of time. It doesn't peel. None of that. So here she is. The one I made over, by the way, she is on eBay, but nude. I'm selling her nude. I did redo her eyebrows last year. And so this was my mini me for a very long time. This was my Marie Grace mini me. And um, so I guess you would think, well, why are you getting rid of her now? Why are you selling her now? Because I ended up buying probably 5 Marie Grace dolls back in 2012 and 11, 12, 13. No, I ended up probably buying about 7 or 8, not at the same time, different times. Because I ended up, when I was retiring, that was when I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is my favorite doll. So I have another Marie Grace with the black hair. I have the one called Snow White, and I also have the one that's in my bedroom. And I got to pick. Now with this one, she has like a paint underneath the eye to look like, where you do an eyeliner if you wanted it. So yeah, I redid her. And the reason why I've listed the dolls that I do have on eBay at this time, people have been asking, do you have any available? And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to put some available. The reason why I have those listed is because with those, I can buy newer ones and continue the journey of repainting them and making them over, and just use the funds from that to replace them with newer ones. So I can get another Marie Grace and do another version of this one, um, with a Rapunzel. So that's what I'll probably do. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah. She does have my original synthetic hair extensions that I use. The hair is still silky and soft and beautiful and voluptuous. So yeah, she is. So yeah, she's available. The date is on the bottom of her foot. It has 2012. That's when I got her, and I put 2025 because I redid her eyebrows in 2000 last year, because the eyebrows are more snatched. They look much better. My newest repaint, I did it for my friend Vanessa, and it ended up looking like Jenna Ortega, the actress. So I didn't plan it, it just happened. So that was how I started this long, well, journey. It's not the reason why I continue. Um, my motives changed. At the beginning, it was just, okay, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something no one's done before. I'm going to do some of these dolls. But it wasn't about what other people did. It was never about what other people do. It was about what I did with homemade fabric cloth dolls and hand painting them to look more realistic, and then using synthetic hair extensions on a cloth doll. Then when I got the My Twin doll, I was disappointed in the hair quality, took off that wig, replaced it, and used synthetic hair extensions. Then I went with Becca and did it. And then it was like, I like this. I'm having fun doing this with American Girl dolls. But then also it shifted from not just buying American Girl dolls to make them over. I respected the original integrity of the original look of the doll as well. That's how I ended up with so many, and then that's how come, you know, I went from having an original, keeping original Marie Graces, which I do still have two still in their box. Um, so I took her from this to this. Huge difference, but yeah, we went from that to that. Um, and having the appreciation for the quality of their vinyl, the size, um, and then things in my personal life shifted. Um, I guess I might as well just be real with it. I had a nervous breakdown. I had to be hospitalized. My marriage was crumbling. And so I had to do a lot of therapy. I spent a week at the hospital um, more than once. And that's when it affected my big early content. Um, I went through the process of having the, issues with lymph nodes, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand a lot of things about that situation or those situations with that. Um, I was on a lot of medication, prescribed prescription medication, so I wasn't completely coherent um, in those years. And so I remember regular viewers by that time, 2015 and 16. Yeah, that was it. 2015 and 16. Um, I had no sense of stability. And what I did have was my American Girl dolls and Barbie. Everything ended up switching over to that. And plus, I enjoyed the dolls that I made. Um, so yeah, it took a long time to get through that. And then to get through the phase of being medicated on like, oh God, I think I was on 8 or 9 mental health prescriptions. Um, and so it wasn't the best. It was just a difficult period in my life. I had to make a choice in my marriage. And with things that were happening, I knew that I had to leave. I had to get out. It cost me my sanity back in 2015 and 16 and 17. I don't remember. I know the years, but I'm going to be honest. I do not remember hardly anything in my personal life from that period for like a 5 years. Being on so much medication and having a nervous breakdown and leaving the marriage. Um, that was the hardest decision, but it was also the most life changing because I I really didn't have I didn't think I was gonna survive it. Um, at that time, my psychiatrist Susan had me on, oh my God, some anything and everything. Um, Me and Linda, it was 2012. Yeah, we went to Charlotte. We saw Madonna in Charlotte, and she remembered that she just remembered seeing all these bottles of pills that I had laid up in the bathroom and the counter and things. And I was just so medicated. I was sedated on a daily basis. It's just, I would say things, not knowing, realizing what I was saying, my actions, my words, everything was just whatever. It was just random. Um, it was very hard that period of my life. So from 2012 to 2015 was very difficult. I can't remember anything from those periods of time. In 2016, I was involved in a car accident. It took 2 years to settle. Um, so I continued doing what I do with my dolls. My doctors were then saying the things that I did with dolls were coping mechanism to, deal with life situations, to get through life situations. Um, and I have to take moments to pause because I'm not trying to go into extreme details. The thing was this: I ended up with a severe medical condition, but then um, I ended up in the hospital 2018. Blood clots in both lungs, all of that. I was in intensive care for a month. When I came out, um, it was from 2000. That was 2018. I spent the entire 2018 trying to recover, and I've been on blood thinner ever since. Um, it was the beginning of having medical conditions that interfered in my life. But then, as I tried to get better, certain things got worse. I ended up being weaned off of a lot of those medications that I was taking, and stopped, not on my own, but through my doctors. I have an amazing team of doctors who've always been there for me. Um, so, what I do as a doll repaint artist with American Girl is my hobby. I've tried to stop, and I've wanted to stop many times because I wanted to just move away from it. Get rid of most of my doll collection and, just move on to something else, do something else in life. What stopped me, the reason why I haven't, is because of my doctor. My doctor that I have now, Miriam, I've been with Miriam for over 10 years. And she's concerned about, because she feels that what I do with the dolls, she's like, first of all, she's like, on the standpoint of my medical conditions, they're able to see and view what I'm doing with my time. I'm not just sitting at home doing nothing. I am being artistic, I'm being creative, um, creating content, and I'm good at what I do. They feel that what I do is my coping mechanism to deal with a lot of stress, over stress, over stress. But then also, there are just a lot of things I've had to do with on the mental health stance. So it's very important that if you're going through something or not feel well, to do get, you know, to see a doctor and talk about it. Don't be scared to do that. Um, they have always been concerned if I stop doing what I do with dolls here on YouTube, that I would end everything. And you have to really read between the lines of end everything, because they believe that I would enter severe depression, which I deal with, you know, depressive disorder, and they feel I would just end everything. They feel that what I do here on YouTube, um, it's what keeps me motivated, keeps me going. I turn off the comments. I don't want to be distracted. If people like my content, the content they like, they'll just give it a thumbs up. I feel like that's my way of knowing that's the content they want to see. That's the content I will give you. Um, so I feel like the journey and what I do as a doll artist, it's not about selling. I can't meet that. I would rather just continue repainting dolls and enjoy my dolls and then looking at them, and then periodically go through them, and then I decide, well, you know what, I can let a few go. I can sell them on eBay, use that to replace them with newer ones, and continue doing what I do. Um, so my YouTube channel, it's now become a place of tutorials. It's tutorials for you because I do what I do out of maintaining um, stability in my life, um, being proactive artistically. I'm now back going to gym. I've changed my eating habits and diet, because I've entered first stage of obesity. I know I don't look it, but I am. So exercise with the gym, 3 miles, 4 days a week, changing eating habits, all of that. So now I have to focus on this. As I'm recovering from, I had a tumor removed, and then I had to have surgery into the mid part of facial reconstructive surgery. And then I had to have another head surgery. All three of those surgeries within a year, 1 year period. And now I talked about a lump on my breast, which it's benign. It's nothing. It doesn't have cancer in it, nothing like that at this time. With the lump, it can always change. It can always progress later down the road. So I will be going through two surgeries in September. So I have basically 5 months to focus on physical health and change of diet, get my weight down to a healthy weight, and to maintain it, and then to be prepared for another surgery. Dealing with mental health has been a challenge. It has been difficult. Um, it's been very hard to maintain relationships, friendships. It's like I would be into 1 minute, then I don't know. I just get weird and just have to leave and just be to myself. But people with a diagnosis, mine's professional diagnosis, with borderline personality disorder, you will have problems maintaining relationships. Now, my friend Vanessa Udala did. We get along great every day. I've known her for 4 years now, and she's my best friend. And I trust her with everything. We talk about anything and everything in life, and dolls and things like that. Um, she's my biggest support, to be honest. Um, she has amazing family and incredible parents. I didn't get that. Um, I'm a product of um, the good and bad of the good and bad of parents. Um, so yeah, so that's the reason why I'm still on my channel. I do talk about the longevity of it. I think yeah, I might brag about that because I'm shocked I'm still here. When I say that, it's not just about my channel. It's not just about my channel that's being on YouTube for 16 years. It's actually that I've been here 16 more years. That's the point that I get at, but people don't know that. But people don't realize that because they don't know me. My viewers don't know me like that. They assume they know a version of me, but no, when I talk about the longevity of my channel, I'm really metaphorically speaking of I'm actually survived 16 more years. I'm still here, like me in the living world, still here. That's what it's really about. So, my psychiatrist, my therapist, yes, they watch my content. Um, it's a way for them to be able to monitor my behavior when I'm not in therapy, but how I am on a daily basis, how I interact. But it's really at the bottom line about what I do with my time when I'm at home. So I do video shorts when me and my friend go to the Eloise store, and I love the normies. I love the normies. So I'll do little video shorts of that, but not just for me. It's for you too, because I get excited over them. Um, this is what my hobby is. What has kept me going. My hobby is what has kept me inspired. Um, what do I think about the American Girl now compared to what it was? Oh God, it's a huge difference. Um, Now I will say this: when I talk about the quality of American Girl, it's the vinyl. Okay, the older dolls um, have faded. The older dolls' skin tones faded. Some of them. Um, the vinyl is truly the best vinyl. The VIE dolls that I designed for the toy company with these. The vinyl quality is impeccable. With VIE, with having the opportunity to design with this toy company has been absolutely incredible. Because here I have Melina, and then I have Tatiana. Uh, there, now you can see them. Sorry, those are cards. They're not meant for the public. From those stuff. Okay, so Melina, and then her, and then here we have the others in here and in the background. These are the same quality of vinyl as an American Girl doll, but these actually, it's a thicker, more um it's a thicker type of vinyl. It's very much the same vinyl, they just make it thicker and the dolls are articulated. That has just been amazing to work with, that company. I love it. The owner, she's kind, compassionate. She's so easy to get along with. Um, Ellen is just amazing. She really is. She's amazing. In what she does, her vision as a designer and the owner of her company. Um, my relationship with American Girl, I thank God it's always been good. Um, the people from corporate that I've spoken with through phone calls during the time of COVID, and then an inhalation issue I had with opening a doll. I'm very sensitive, allergies, asthma, things like that. Um, but the communication I had with them was amazing. It was impeccable. The people I've had in communication with headquarters there have been so kind and compassionate to me. They've just been amazing. American Girl has a special place in my heart because of the people who work for American Girl. Their kindness and compassion and just wonderful, and the compliments that I received. I think the thing with American Girl, what I was told was that what I do with them, it kind of keeps the secondary market going. The thing is, though, that's what I recommend more than anything. If you want to repaint your American Girl doll, go to eBay. Go to eBay, get a used, a pre-loved American Girl doll at a discounted price. My tutorials are here on how to wash and clean them, how to restrain them, how to tighten it up. Um, if you need to redo their wigs, you can buy doll wigs at Dallas Doll Co. Uh, I have a tutorial for anything and everything on how to repair or make your American Girl doll truly yours. Um, and you can get them very inexpensively on secondary market. So this is how my life and my channel has evolved over the years and why it's evolved the way it has. I have gone through several rough patches um, here on YouTube and really times where it was like, now I pay more attention to when I need to step back. When I need to step back away from YouTube, I need to get rest or pay more attention to things that are more important instead of coming on here with a rant or something like that. So that is a lesson learned that I avoid. And when I come on live, it's really to produce productive content on painting skills, restoring skills, things like that where you can learn and benefit from. That's the goal, that's the priority that I have now with my YouTube channel. And keeping my personal stuff aside. Even though I have touched base on personal things with this video, I'm not going in details, severe details or deep ones and all that kind of stuff because I don't want to. Just enough to let you know the basis of the situations that have happened over the years. At this moment, at this period in my personal life, this is probably the most stable I've ever been. Um, I'm living on my own. I'm doing everything on my own, and I don't have instability. I have been able to provide stability in my own life without depending on other people. Um, yeah, it makes a big difference. Um, but still, the reason I'm downsizing at this time is because I'm not in a storage unit anymore and I don't live in a big house like I used to. So even though I've downsized over half, I still got a lot I need to downsize. Um, but I also want to be able to continue doing creative painting. I need to for my sanity. So that is why I have the dolls I have listed. Since I have so many original Marie Graces from the beginning, and when I got this doll, um, and I got more than one at the same time. The other one looks like her twin. It's in my room, so that one I'll always keep. But I was like, I can part with this one, and her beautiful silky hair. But again, she is on eBay, but she is so nude, she won't come in clothes. I just have them in clothes now, so they won't be laying around naked and stuff. Okay, so that is what's going on behind the scenes. That is why I continue doing creative content at this time. It's therapeutic. Um, it is with encouragement from my medical team to continue doing this as my hobby. Um, so that's why I keep doing it, for myself, for my own mental and emotional health. In this chapter of my journey in life, I've had so many different chapters in my life that, and then with medication I take for anxiety, it's a controlled substance and it causes memory loss. So yeah, I do deal with that. I do deal with the fact that I can't remember everything. Periods of my life, several different periods, no recollection whatsoever. It's just wiped out. But I also, from my car accident, the hit from the head that was in 2016, as time progressed, I cannot remember things. It could also be from traumatic experiences that I've forgotten things as well, which honestly, I think is for the best. Um, yeah. So moving forward, this video, it is what it is. This is not something that I'm going to want to touch base on um, anytime soon. It's just me going from when I started here to where I am at now, and to be more stable at this point in my life, and to become better as I go along. Adulting is difficult. I was not given the proper tools from my parents on being an adult. I didn't learn to be an adult from them. And then also having a life that's been so secluded. Um, you lose out on a lot of things in life, including reality. So, wishing you all the best. Um, and, that was just a little bit about me being personal, but not extreme personal. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, coming up soon, not today or this weekend. I have a Super Size Superstar Barbie I have to reroute for my friend Vanessa. Now the reason why Vanessa got the custom Wednesday doll is because she's my friend. She's there for me. She helped me um, in a lot of ways. And so I did my doll. I did her doll for her. I will be doing another one, but first I figure, okay, I need to sell some stuff. Then I can take that, recycle it back into what I do because I need another little table. Um, and then I can get a few dolls to repaint and to become little glamazons. So until next time, take care of yourself. Have a good weekend. Okay.